Life is short, and being in radio can grind it to a halt. Influence FM is for running your stations at your convenience, when you want, where you want. With Influence FM, you can now do the impossible. Enjoy your life, all the while knowing that Influence FM will notify you instantly about any anomalies. And with the flick of a thumb, you can see that your station's assets and operations are running at full speed. Go ahead, take that vacation. We dare you. We sell freedom, not software. Free yourself to do, well, precisely what you want.
Welcome back. Another fun night of homework. I hope you were practicing your openings today. And maybe a little bit of your, I don't know, executive summary, elevator speech. Last night doing the schedules gave you an education in where we're going to go. And today we're going to talk about the other side. Years ago, one of my trainers taught me what you say times how many times you say it is the only thing that works in advertising today. Think about that a second. Does Coca-Cola still really need to advertise? I mean, does anybody in this earth not know about Coca-Cola? I got off an airplane in Romania back, 15 years ago. Romania. Just had come out from behind the Iron Curtain. First things I see when I get there are ads for Coca-Cola and Marlboro. Just how it works. But now what we have to do is we have to talk about the what you say. You see, because in every business, I believe there's a story that needs to be told. So let's talk about this. It's the old who, what, when, where, and why. These are the steps that everybody has to go through when they're deciding on a business, on specifying a business, or your customer. So, as we start to find the story, we want to know who they're talking to, what the point of view is, where they go in the market. All these things become very important. Now, I want to talk to you about this guy right here. You know who he is? You actually do. See, I'm going to tell you a couple things about this guy. Whenever you hear him on the radio or TV, you've never seen him. You've only heard his voice. And usually behind his voice, there's just a fiddle playing. And he tells you that you can get a clean, comfortable room for about 26 bucks, a little more in some places, a little less in others. I'm Tom Bodette, and we'll leave the light on for you. Now think about that entire ad campaign. Motel 6. Just one of the grunge motels. It's like, oh, there's not a room anywhere else. All right, we'll go to Motel 6. Well, Motel 6 is very unapologetic about what they are. They say, we don't have French milled soap, we don't have this, we don't have that, but what we do have is a clean, comfortable room that looks exactly the same with the lights out as every other room you could stay in. And that was their whole marketing statement. So what happened? They came up with a story. And the story always goes on with Tom telling something about something that he does or doesn't understand and relates it back to the Motel 6 experience, which is nothing more than a clean, comfortable room for less than most other major chains. All right, here's some questions I like asking people to kind of get a story going. First of all, I'll say, hey, what made you get into this business? And now shut up and listen. You remember I told you last week that 82% of people would rather talk to a good listener? Remember that. What made you decide to get in this business? And then let them tell the story. And while they're telling the story, actively listen. And I do mean actively. Think about what they're saying. Now, a lot of times I'll take notes. But what they don't realize is the cell phone in my pocket is recording the entire thing. So that later I can sit down and go through this and go, oh, okay, geez, I forgot he said that, and this and that. Later, when I come back with some of his own statements, he goes, wow, I didn't know you heard that. Or did I say that? When you ask about what made them decide to get into the business, say, when was this? And let them talk. And then say, well, what was going on back then? Well, I just got out of the Army and yada, 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 whatever else. More of the story. And then, why did you finally take the plunge? Because I'm going to tell you, most people that go into business for themselves, it's a major deal. If you've never been in business for yourself, you wouldn't understand. I'm going to tell you that at that time, when you sign the papers and you realize that everything is on the line and it all depends on you, that is a huge step, and there were other people involved. The next thing I like looking for is the humor. There's always a funny story. This is one I like getting. I like asking this story is, what is the worst advice you ever received about your business? and shut up. Because there's going to be a funny story there. And ask this with a smile on your face. What is the craziest thing you ever got told by a customer? What you're doing is you're seeding their thoughts. You're taking their brain and saying, you know, it's like if I said the word cotton candy to you right now. You can hear the calliope going around with the horses, the merry-go-round. You can probably smell the cotton candy. See, only from me saying a couple words, I immerse you in that experience. And that's what I'm trying to do here. This is one I really love asking. Hey, you ever had one of those surefire ideas that went down in flames? And at that point, I might share one of mine and listen to them talk. They're going to tell you funny stuff here. Now, you do get into what I call the nuts and bolts question, and these are important. These are the questions where we really get into how does this business work. Now, you see, remember I came in and I said, I'm Chris from the radio station. I've done a little preliminary research on your business, and I think that by you and I working together, we can both put a few more coins in our pockets. But there are some questions, some specific knowledge I need from you. Here they are. Number one, on a share market ladder for what you sell, where do you think you stand? On a share of market ladder. In other words, if the share market is like this for your particular product, are you on top or are you on bottom? And just remember, if they're up against Walmart on anything, they are not on the top of the ladder. Is your share trend rising, growing, or remaining the same? If you're in an area that is either growing or contracting, well, now if it's growing 10% per year, is your share trend remaining the same? Which means you have 10% more customers. If his share trend is not going up with the area, like if the area's up 10% and he's even, he's going down. How do you do next to the national businesses? Now this one takes a little bit. All right, you got to do your research ahead of time. Say, hey, listen, I got this page from the National Bakers Association that says the average bakery will do this and this and this and this based upon national averages. How are you doing next to these averages? This is a way of showing this person that you know what you're talking about, but also makes them face some realities that they may or may not know. This question is the most important question you can ask in a CNA, and it's couched. You know, what is the single largest misconception about your business that drives you crazy? Now today, I'm standing in a studio, and there's a bunch of guys filming me here. You can't see them all, but they're all back there, and they're running the sound and whatnot. And when I came in, I talked to the owner of the company today, and we were talking briefly about the name of the company. And one of the things that he had said is, I wanted a name of the company that left it open so that we could intrude into all parts of business, from photography to videography to editing to logos to web pages. Okay. So what is the single largest misconception about this business right now? I'll tell you what it is. In this one, they think they just take pictures of houses and weddings. So they're going to go ahead and move beyond that. This question, when asked, if you shut up and don't help, will tell you everything you need to know to write your marketing campaign. All right, now we got all this information. What are we going to do with it? You stand up, you say thank you very much, and you leave. A lot of salespeople make a big mistake right here. This person starts showing interest, so the salesperson says, by the way, we have the weather package. By the way, we have this. What are you doing? That's like a doctor starting to prescribe a drug before they ask you what's wrong. What I do at this point is I say, listen, I'm going to take this back to my crack, savvy, motivated staff of highly trained professionals at the radio station who are going to pour through all this and all the national data and see if there's something that we can do to help you get to your goals. If I come up with something that I think can put a few coins in your pocket and mine, can I come back and show it to you? Did you hear that? That's a trial close. If I come up with something I think can put a few more coins in your pocket and mine, can I come back? What's he going to say? Of course he's going to say yes. Good. You've got your commitment. Stand up, shake hands. Get the hell out now. Don't talk anymore. You've done the best you can do. All right. Now I got to stitch it all together. So I come back to the radio station, I figure out, okay, who's their competitor? What is his competitor's competitive advantage? Who is their target customer? Why is it their target customer? What's the customer's motivation? Does it fit with the business? So let's go back and get out a piece of paper and start writing stuff down. All right, here's what the guy told me. He said, I've been in business since 1908. I've got convenient free parking. He uses the freshest and finest ingredients. Let's see. Make the first loaves are out of the bread are out 5 o'clock in the morning. Everything is made with love. Okay, a baker's dozen is 14, in and out in 3 minutes. Wedding cake consultation available. Okay, this is everything he told me at the bakery. Now, what am I going to do with this? I wrote down all of these statements. Don't try to write an ad. People who try to write ads try to start at the beginning and go to the end. Write down the statements. Now, let's cross out everything that makes absolutely no sense in the ad. In business since 1908. Do you care? Does anybody care? When you're picking a place to buy baked goods, do you care if they've been in business since 1908? You really don't. Convenient free parking. In my city, this doesn't matter. I actually had somebody put this into an ad years ago. I actually heard it on my radio station. I called everybody in and said, wait a minute. Did you actually just put that in? There's only one parking lot in this entire city that you have to pay to park in, and it's a boat dock at the north end of town. Now, if there is a parking problem where you are, then leave it in. Only the freshest and finest ingredients. Don't we all expect that? So why would you say it? All right, made with love. You know, I've seen the people back there in the kitchen. You ever come into a bakery when they're in the back and they're really pumping the stuff out? Usually everybody's swearing at each other. There ain't no love going on back there. And plus it doesn't mean anything, all right? So now what do? Now we come back and say, okay, let's add some real life scenarios to this. Think about the target audience buying baked goods. Now, I think about a friend of mine. His name is Jay Philippone. And Jay Philippone commutes between Pittsburgh and Weirton, West Virginia and Ohio. And he always stops at a place called Sheets. Nice enough place. And this is what one looks like down here. And he gets his morning pastry and morning coffee at this place. And I look at him and think, you know, you're a successful business owner. You get the best of everything in your life. You go down to Florida for spring training. And here you are buying your morning pastry and coffee from a place with gas pumps. So what would I tell Jay? I'd say to Jay, you know what? You deserve better than breakfast from a place with a gas pump. You really do. Now, the next thing is, say, you know, stopping at the bakery in the morning. If I think about that, I'm going to go, oh, you know, it's like when somebody says to me in a restaurant, would you like dessert? Don't ask me if I'd like dessert. You want to sell me dessert? You say, I want to show you what we have tonight. It's this wonderful apple pie with our handmade ice cream, yada, yada, yada. Now I'm sitting there just drooling for it. By the way, if you know somebody in the restaurant business, you want to give them a tip to increase their dessert sales by 30%, right after they take the dinner order and put it into the kitchen, have them come back with the dessert tray right then. This is counterintuitive, but here's what you do. You say, listen, if after dinner you would like some of this apple pie, I'm running low on it. I'll save you a piece, get it all heated up nice. It'll be piping hot. Oh, and I can already smell it. I'm hungry right now. I'll order the cake or the pie or whatever it's going to be. Have them do it then. In the restaurants we've tried this in, easy, up 20, 30, some cases as much as 40 or 50% in dollars, because desserts are extravagantly expensive, and then you teach them by buying the coffee and everything else. And we'll talk about selling extras in our business in a bit. So, indulgence. Jay, you've earned the indulgence, and I'll say it just that way in the ad. But now, I want you to think about the difference between walking into a convenience store and walking into a bakery. What's the difference in smell? Next convenience store you walk in, take a whiff. All right? So these are the things that I'm pulling out of this and saying, all right, here's some real life that I'm going to add to this ad. So now what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to think about Motel 6 ads. I'm going to tell a story. I'm not going to yell. This is another thing I hate. I hate ads where somebody yells. Because I want you to think about this. I want you to imagine that you're sitting on a bar stool next to a guy and you want to tell him about a big sale at your business. So what do? Friday only, one day! Is that how you talk to somebody? Or do you talk to them like they talk at Motel 6? They say, we'll get you a clean, comfortable room for about 26 bucks, more in some places, less in others. So now, 14-point type, 6 lines. I know you can write 8 lines, but only if you want the announcer to be talking like this all the way through your ad and get everything in that you put in. And if you put phone numbers in, they have to talk even faster. But if you give me 6 lines of 14-point type, I can talk at this pace. And this is about the pace that most people talk conversationally. When you put the ad together, If you don't like something, hack it. Do it again. Listen, the guys in production are going to hate you. So what? They're going to hate you no matter what. Just do it this way. Then test the ad. I have a couple ways I test the ads. One of the things I do is I go to some customers of mine who are already on the air. I'll go to a big furniture store and I'll have an ad for the Dairy Queen, and I'll say, hey, could you listen to this ad and tell me what your impression is? And they'll tell you things about that ad. And then you have made them an advisor for you. They feel like they're on the team. You know what's going to happen when that furniture guy runs into the guy from Dairy Queen and says, yeah, they had some ads for you. I did a little tweaking on them. Now you're bringing everybody in together. All right. The next question, in terms of the ad, they're going to ask this question. How do I know it works? Well, let's see. I want everybody who walks in to mention the ad. Ain't going to happen. I don't care what you do. It ain't going to. Listen, if you're as old as me, you remember the old commercials for True Value Hardware Store, where at the end of the thing, it always said, tell them Pat Summerall sent you. Did you ever do it? I'm a pretty gregarious guy, but I'm not going to walk up and go, Pat Summerall sent me. I'll feel like an idiot. Ask for the 10% off. Most people are so afraid of doing that because they don't want to look like an idiot. They're not going to do it. You know, ask for the 10% or write your own coupon. They are not going to do it, all right? They say, well, when I print coupons, I know they work. We'll talk about ROI and coupons later. I want my kid in the ad. You know who thinks your kid is cute? You think your kid is cute. And your family thinks your kid is cute. If you're going to put your kid in the ad, if they absolutely insist on it, just don't let the kid read the whole ad. Just have him give part of the positioning statement or something and get that out of there, all right? So now, I want to talk to you about return on investment. And if you paid attention to anything I've talked about, pay very careful attention to where we're going to go right now on return on investment. This is a dentist. Again, go to your market, go to your assistant, Google, and put in DDS space and your zip code. You'll get a list of all the dentists. Now, we're going to do a return on investment for this dentist. So let's first assume that a teeth cleaning is $50, okay? Now we're going to assume the margin, and this means the profit margin on teeth cleaning. Now, they might say, we make nothing on them. Okay, it's all in how you present it. These words are very important. What you're going to say is, listen, Mr. Dentist, now, you're already paying for your building. You're doing that now with the business you've got without using me. You're paying for all your staff, which are here where they're working or not. You're paying for your receptionist, your insurance, your health. All this stuff is already being paid for. What I'm talking about is incremental business. Now, would you agree that you make at least 90% on that? The truth is they make 100%. There is no expense on a teeth cleaning. Used to be a spit cup. Now they don't even have spit cups anymore. All right, so we'll go with 90%. And then we're going to take an average in your market of 4 people. Now, some places are different. In Logan, Nevada, the average family is 9 people. In parts of Louisiana, it's 7 and 8 people. So let's just, for this sake, let's knock it down to 4, which is the national average. Next up, let's go with some assumptions that you see over there on the side. Again, the teeth cleaning is $50, the margin is 90%, and the average family is 4 people. All right? The advertising investment, I'm going to ask for $50,000. Now, I don't care what size market you're watching this in right now. That's the number. If you've got $3 ads or $300 ads, let's just go with the $50,000 and watch what happens. Okay. The advertising investment is 50%, but what I want to do is say, what kind of interest should you earn on your money? In other words, I'd say, Mr. Dentist, if you put $50,000 in the bank today, how much interest could you earn on that money? And he'd say, about 1 or 2%. Say, okay, well, my goal is to give you 20% back on your money. Is 20% interest good? Well, I know guys named Vito who don't even charge that kind of interest. So we'll say 20%. Now, let's look at the teeth cleaning. We said it was $50, right? But what happens when you get your teeth cleaned? What happens 6 months later? The dentist office sends you a note. This is important. Because you see, once I have brought the customer to the door, now it's up to the dentist to keep it going and get the retention. So my teeth cleaning is not $50, it's twice a year, so it's $100. But wait, it's a family of 4, right? So if it's a family of 4, that's 100 times 4 is $400. We're just talking teeth cleanings, folks, nothing else, all right? So now we take that and say, all right, how long do you keep your average customer? Well, I don't know about you, but once I find a dentist I like, I'm with him until I retire or he retires. But let's just cut it down to just 5 years. Okay, so that's $2,000. You see the math there, and you see how we got to it. So we've got an advertising investment of $50,000, 20% return on the money, and we've got $2,000 as our average expenditure. Next up, if we say it's 90% profit, that means our net margin is $1,800 per customer. Okay, we've marked it down. 90%, 10% goes to hard goods. Next up, we say, what's our closing ratio? Well, it's probably right around 100%. You see, in this case, I think anybody who gets themselves to the dentist's office is not going to chicken out then, unless they hear screams from the other room. So what happens is you got a 100% closing ratio. Everybody is going to go. Now, what we do is we take the return and we divide it by the net. So we have $60,000, which is our return, the $50,000 plus 20%. We divide it by the net of $1,800, and that yields 33.33. That's the number of people we have to get sold. Now, if it's 100% closing ratio, my job for $50,000 is to bring 3 new customers in per month. Soak that in. That's my job. That's ROI. See, it doesn't matter how many listeners my radio station has. If my competitor has 50,000 listeners and I have 1,000, can I get 3 of them to walk through the door of this dentist's office every week for a year? And if I do, I've justified what's going on. Then the dentist says to you, but wait a minute, how will I know they're from you? Easy. Take your business, plot its line, plot the trend line. If you're going up 3%, plot the trend line, see what they're doing, and then if you're above the trend line, it's us. It's that simple. All right, let's do another business. Let's go and do a furniture store. Now, here's the furniture store, okay? We've got an investment of $50,000. I tend to like $50,000 contracts. I don't know why it is. All right, return $50,000 plus the 20% interest, so we're at $60,000 again. Now, what is my one-time sale? Well, my one-time sale is $750. I've checked this through most of the local businesses here. They say that's it. Now you say, well, Chris, that doesn't make any sense. They sell beds and furniture and mattresses. Those things are expensive. Yes, but these places also sell a lot of accessories. You can easily go to your furniture store and ask 2 questions. What did you gross last month and how many tickets did you write? Because they may not even know their average sale. All right, so next up. I know that the margin on this is 50%. If you see it there on the side, okay? The furniture stores, even when they mark stuff down to half price, they're still somewhere between 30 and 75%. Real high margin. Jewelry, by the way, is 300% usually before they mark it down to half price. All right, so you'll find all this. And again, you just ask your assistant. It'll tell you. Our closing ratio is 40%. 4 in 10. Now, that's these furniture stores that I work with, and most of them are saying it's about 40%. Now, understand, we are not talking about any repeat sales. We're making it as if these people only come in once. So our return divided by our net times our closing ratio, and we come up with my job. For $50,000, my job is to bring 33 prospects in per month. 8 people a week. That's it. If those 8 people come in a week on my $50,000 schedule, they're going to meet the 20% interest rate. Everything over that is gravy. Now here's my question. On your radio station, if you had $50,000, could you write copy good enough using that much repetition to get 8 people in per week? If you can't, you're in the wrong business. So let's move on. Practice. Plan, practice, present. Plan, practice, present. I want you to remember, you're asking for a lot of money. A lot of salespeople are very nervous about asking for the kinds of numbers that I'm talking about. Your yellow page reps have no problem asking for that amount of money. They ask for a lot of money. But you ask for this amount of money. People don't like spending money on marketing. They've got nothing to show for it when it's over. They can't say, look what I bought. You just asked them for a price of a car. Earlier, I told you that battle plans are necessary. You have to know what you're going to do, but the best sales reps can adjust in a big hurry to what's going on. And by the way, if they say to you, well, this all sounds good, but I only have $20,000 to spend, some sales managers will say, well, why didn't you take the $20,000? If you determined 50 was the number, why would you bring it down? And by the way, the response rates go up disproportionately with the amount of money. 50,000 does not produce twice as many people as 25,000. It may produce 3 times as many people because more repetition. If you don't have enough repetition at the bottom of the scale, like 1 ad per week in the news, you're not going to do anything, all right? Your next thing is to show how you're going to take care of their business, what your follow-up is going to be like. I'll come see you here and there and then. If they make the order, do you bring the confirmation back right away? Do you come back with a gift? In my company, we always send a gift from the owner with every schedule that comes through. This is just, we call it the BURP program, Buyer's Remorse Program. In other words, we're thanking you for doing business with us. The handwritten thank you note comes after that. I'm in there 2 days later with copies of the ads. In my company's situation, because we use Influence FM, every night before their ads run, they get the times their ads are going to run on all my stations the next day. It makes it tangible. They can say, oh, I got an ad coming up at 11:15 on this station. They tune to it. What are you going to do to serve their business more than anybody else? Tough homework tonight. You can see it here. Yeah, I want you to record a video of yourself. You say, well, I'm too shy to do that. If you're too shy to record a video of yourself, you're too shy to be in this business, and you might want to rethink coming back tomorrow. I want you to prepare a $50,000 schedule. I want you to prepare a weekend-only schedule. Yes, another one. I want you to prepare a Sunday through Tuesday schedule. Yes, another one. I want you to complete cold calls today. And out of those, you should get at least 1 CNA. If you haven't gotten one yesterday or today, it's time to double or triple up. Your job is to get a CNA appointment every day. Write the ads for the business on your list, it says it there, and prepare an ROI calculation for the bakery using these parameters. Going to be another tough night. I'll see you tomorrow, and I hope you get everything done. It's going to keep going uphill from here.
Life is short, and being in radio can grind it to a halt. Influence FM is for running your stations at your convenience, when you want, where you want. With Influence FM, you can now do the impossible. Enjoy your life, all the while knowing that Influence FM will notify you instantly about any anomalies. And with the flick of a thumb, you can see that your station's assets and operations are running at full speed. Go ahead, take that vacation. We dare you. We sell freedom, not software. Free yourself to do, well, precisely what you want.